All right, good evening to the humans of Earth. I hope everybody's feeling good tonight. Everybody aboard the spaceship already feeling good. Ray of Sunshine's already aboard the spaceship. Thank you so much for boarding. Feels good to have your energy aboard. Let me know if the energy or if the sound levels could be any bit different, anything like that. We'll try to end up making everything sound as good as possible. Yay! Ray of Sunshine says, "Oh, glad. Hey, you made it." And yes, I did. You guys, just to give you a quick update for the past few days, there have been just some issues, I guess, transitioning back to everything and just trying to make sure that everything's up and running. So right now, I'm trying my best to end up making sure that this streams well, and it seems like it's doing just okay, but it could get bad at any moment, and that's kind of what my software is telling me already. So, if it does, I just appreciate everybody for tolerating it, for sticking in there, for making sure that everything is good. Okay, perfect. Ray of Sunshine says the stream's cut out a couple of times already on my end. And so I thank you already for saying that, appreciate you. And yes, we'll try our best to end up making sure that everything's trying to do as good as we can here. So with this, my friends, let's just go ahead and cut into it here. What is going on with this show? Let's go ahead and transition. We'll talk about it a bit. Bam, this is Sovereign Starseed. My friends call me Seth. Or my real name is Seth. My friends call me Silky. And every night, usually at 10 p.m. Mountain, 5 o'clock Universal, we do the Sovereign STARCAST, which is just trying to assist Earth's It's trying to accelerate Earth's awakening process, a process that's already happening, a process that still will happen regardless of if I'm podcasting or not. But it's just something that I like to assist with. And so we try to end up giving you the cryptocurrency news every night, as well as some little bit of news to help you remain sovereign and private. And those are going to be some very good assets for us going forward. And usually I start off doing the podcast with something that I'm grateful for, but I am tonight and a couple of other, and actually going forward, I'm going to be starting to do the maxims from Bouvier's Dictionary of Law. And maxims are just self-evident truths that help us remain in power of ourselves. So I like to oftentimes just say the Latin version of this and then the English version of this so that we can think and reflect on this as we read these news, as we read these articles. So, and if you have anything that this brings up, if this starts to make you think of something that you want to speak of, I'd be delighted to hear what you have to say. Just go ahead and post it up in chat. Usually for the people that are listening to this later, we're streaming on Twitch, Periscope, and YouTube every night where you can participate in chat. And then also later on, if you're not able to end up making the streams, you can listen to this on D-Sound, where it's converted to a podcast, and you can listen to it later on at your leisure. So anyways, just getting into it, the maxim for tonight that I'd like for us to kind of be aware of. Perfect. Okay, so Ray of Sunshine says, got some input on the maxims. I'll tell you later. Perfect. I will remind you. Absolutely. So, with this tonight, the maxim that I have here, and I want to put this up on the screen, and I'm trying to still figure out a way for us to do that. But the maxim that I have for us tonight is, let's see if I can try to end up getting this up on something. Let's see here. Give me just a second. Let me see if I could do something here. We're just gonna try something real fast just to get it going. Let's see what we can do. Oh. Just gonna try one or two more little things here. Hey, all right, I'm gonna get this working. For everybody that's going to be listening later on, what I'm doing right now is I'm just setting it up so that we can see this on the spaceship. I'm just setting up like a nice little notepad. That way we can see it. Now let me go ahead and fade this in. Hey, appreciate you, Ray Sunshine. That would help. Give me just a moment. But I think this is going to help as well. Mr. Compton, what's up, bro? Let's get the show on the road. Okay, cool. So, we're going to begin this show. When you're back from Mexico, Mr. Compton asked, hey, bro, I'm back from Mexico. Remember? The other night you had even said, welcome back. You remember, bro? I hope. Excellent. So this is kind of what I wanted to see. What day though you get back? Oh, it was actually like day before yesterday. And so when I got back, yeah, just had to deal with some internet things, but now that those things are taken care of, yeah, we could definitely do some other things with that too. So yeah, super excited for that. Hey, but thank you for asking. Appreciate you, friend. So yes, basically these are the maxims, and we're gonna end up doing one maxim per stream. And these are just self-evident truths that are great for us to know. And tonight's self-evident truth is in Latin first. Al impossible nul nest tenu. L'impossible nil nest tenu. Which in English says, no one is bound to do what is impossible. Again, that is, no one is bound to do what is impossible. So we like to end up using these maxims here. It's just something that I've studied in the past, just on my studies, where I have found that using maxims have often helped me stay aligned with natural law, and self-evident truth is something that allows me to align a lot with natural law, as well as the listeners of this show. So by having something like these maxims, you can also see how this is actually very powerful for us. So just wanted to go ahead and start off with that, and then after we start watching a few of these maxims being used, then we'll be able to actually have a good cache of knowledge to draw from that actually is aligned to natural law, which helps us remain in our power, which helps us remain sovereign. And this isn't even mine, you know, this is just knowledge that's been out there, you know, and I'm just grateful that we have the opportunity to share it with each other and talk about it. So if that brings up anything for you, no one is bound to do what is impossible. If that brings up any memories or it invokes anything in you that you want to speak on, please speak on that in chat or send me a message. I'll be happy to talk to you more about this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the news. Dashboard, give me the news. All right, perfect. First of all, Cointelegraph.com is putting out this article that says 94-year-old Berkshire Hathaway VP says it's disgusting people buy Bitcoin. Now, some of these articles are a couple days old just because, like, you know, we're getting caught up on things. Still trying to make sure that the internet can work consistently and things like that for our streams. But yes, what we can see here is that Cointelegraph put out this article on February 15th that says Berkshire Hathaway Vice Chairman Charlie Munger described Bitcoin as totally asinine. That's a quote, totally asinine. Wednesday in what some consider will be one of his last public forums. Speaking at the 2018 annual general meeting of the Daily Journal Corporation, Munger, who is 94 years old, outed himself as one of Bitcoin's most outspoken naysayers. Asked about what he described as the Bitcoin craze, Munger's response was that it should receive a government crackdown. Quote, I expect the world to do silly things from time to time because everybody wants easy money, he told shareholders. He said, quote, it's just disgusting that people are taken in by something like this. Our government's lax approach to it is wrong. The right answer with this stuff is bad. The right answer with stuff that bad is to step on it hard. I can say with almost certainty that it will come to a bad ending. So he basically offered these comments on CNBC, and now we can see how 94-year-old Berkshire Hathaway VP feels about these types of statements, which, you know, is important for us to see as well, so that we can see what some of our leading economists and some of our leading investors have to say about this, as well as for us to remember that, you know, Berkshire Hathaway has a financial position to speak against Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's actually in its best interest to make sure that people continue to use Berkshire Hathaway instruments and don't venture out to the sovereign jurisdictions of cryptocurrency. So next, in the news, CoinDesk.com puts out this article that says game maker Atari is planning to launch its own cryptocurrency on February 15th. This article was created, and it says the company behind iconic video games such as Pac-Man and Pong is planning to launch its own cryptocurrency dubbed Atari Token. Atari acquired 15% stake in a Gibraltar-based company, Infinity Networks, and has licensed its brand to the firm. The partnership, previously hinted at a December statement, will see the development of a digital entertainment platform underpinned by the so-called Atari Token. The game maker noted that its investment was, quote, made without cash disbursement by Atari. They say, our aim is to take strategic positions with a limited cash risk in order to best create value with the assets of the Atari brand. Atari chairman and CEO Frederick Chesnay said in a statement. And if I'm mispronouncing any of this, no disrespect is meant. But it has plans to integrate, Atari has plans to integrate cryptocurrencies via its branding partnership with Periplay Limited, which offers online games using Atari games and characters as part of their design. Last week's statement also notably hints at the creation of a second token, which would be used in conjunction with the online casino plan. They say, quote, to broaden the appeal of these new casinos, and once the Atari token is available, Atari has the project to launch Pong Token, a second token dedicated to crypto casinos and usable on these gaming sites. The details of this launch of crypto casinos will be announced soon, the statement, loosely translated, reads. So anybody that's into the casino game, anybody that's into video games, anybody that has any memories of Atari, how do you feel about this? What do you think about Atari creating their own coin? Not just one coin, but multiple coins, and their intentions with that. What are the benefits? What are the detriments? And what can we see that would any of even the article writers or Atari gain by having this article produced? So just so that would remember that a lot of this stuff is propaganda, and that we can pull our heads out of that simple intention of what the article is trying to get across. So next in the news, CoinDesk.com puts out this article on February 16th that says Swiss finance regulator to treat some ICO tokens as securities. So Switzerland's finance regulator has published new guidelines that indicate it will treat some tokens sold during initial coin offerings as securities. In a press release, the Financial Market Supervisory Authority, FINMA, said there will be a sharp rise in the number of ICOs launching in Switzerland, resulting spike in inquiries about the regulations that apply to them. So they say, quote, Creating transparency at this time is important given the dynamic market and the high level of demand. Notably, FINMA will determine the applicability of regulation to crypto tokens on a case-by-case basis, taking a similar stance to that of the U.S. SEC in guidance released last year. So it says, quote, it says, when assessing ICOs, FINMA said its focus on the, quote, economic function and purpose of the tokens, with the underlying purpose of the tokens and whether they are already tradable or transferable being primary factors in how they will be classified. It says, FINMA regards asset tokens as securities, which means that there are securities law requirements on trading in such tokens, as well as civil law requirements under the Swiss Code of Obligations, the regulator said. While conceding that blockchain technology has, quote, innovative potential within and far beyond the financial markets, FINMA CEO Mark Branson said in a release that ICO projects held analogously to regulated activities cannot simply circumvent the tried and tested regulatory framework. The Swiss watchdog first said it was investigating ICOs to determine whether they were following banking and security laws in September 2017. At the time, it said it was examining a number of ICO cases to determine whether regulatory provisions has been breached. So this is fascinating for us to take a look at. Let's see this. What's going on with this, guys? To quickly kind of break this down and go real fast for us, it's basically that Swiss finance regulators want to try to watch what they say about the coin, so that way they don't try to lose like too much of a market position in what they're talking about. But they also want to make sure that it's very well known that they will be trying to regulate things similar to how the U.S. tries to regulate things, and they're trying to regulate tokens on a token by token basis, but the vast majority of those tokens turns out to be securities. So like I was predicting before, back in 2017, these regulators are trying to find a way to find some law body that closely follows something that they've found before that's similar to cryptocurrencies, and try to find whatever's the most closest to what they found before and try to wrap cryptocurrencies in that. But as you can see, they're still having a problem with it. They're saying we got to do this on a case-by-case basis, but we still have to regulate it, and most of them we're going to regulate them like securities, and this is why. And so what I have to say is, I'm appreciative that they're trying to see the uniqueness in each token. However, it's still not going to be good enough for sovereign Starseed, at least. And it's just because, there's still regulation. It's still some centralized authority trying to tell everybody else how to act, as if that centralized authority knows what the best intentions are for everybody on the planet. And so that's the whole problem that I have with the regulations that are happening. And I want you guys to know that even though they're trying to say that this is trying to be safe, in order to make this good for everyone, we have to do this. It's not necessary. It hasn't been necessary for years before now, and it doesn't definitely need to be necessary now. Things are just now starting to flesh themselves out with their legitimacy, that we do not need governments and centralized authorities to try to make their opinions be known and relevant still on how that's going to be safe for the rest of us. So just want you guys to see that. And then, what do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about how some of these tokens are going to be treated on a case-by-case basis, but still regulated? But most of the tokens are going to be regulated under this existing body of knowledge that, all these guys are trying to back it by, is saying that, like, you cannot, by analogously to regulated activities, cannot simply circumvent the tried and tested regulatory framework. Okay. I will say that, yes, the regulatory framework that's here has been tried. It has been tested. But I'll tell you what, it's not successful. So if we've tried it and we've tested it, but now we've seen such a want by our populace to use cryptocurrencies, that even says something about the intentions of this system that's already out there, and how, yeah, we've tried it, we've tested it, but we don't want it anymore. clearly, or else cryptocurrency wouldn't be worth anything, right? We would all be happy with the rules that you're making for us. We would all feel safe that these tiny little regulating bodies know what's safe for the rest of the world, and they have an eye on everything that's going on all at once. Nobody has an eye on that. Nobody can. And so it's ridiculous for us to try to assume for everybody else that we do have that. So yes, from that I just wanted you to go ahead and see that, and like, yeah, it's been a tried and tested framework. Didn't work. Not time for a new framework. Next in the news, Coindesk.com puts out this article that says FCC, Bitcoin miner interfered with the T-Mobile network. On the 16th, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, warned a New York City resident this week that his Bitcoin mining hub was interfering with a broadband network operated by T-Mobile. The FCC issued a, quote, notification of harmful interference to Victor Rosario, dated on February 15th, informing him that the commission received a complaint from T-Mobile regarding interference with its network. It said that through quote, direction finding techniques, the FCC Enforcement Bureau determined that the Antminer S5 mining product in his residence was the source of the, quote, spurious emissions of radiation. The notice made clear that Rosario could face penalties if he keeps operating the Bitcoin miner. The FCC warns, quote, continued operation of this device that causes harmful interference after your receipt of this warning constitutes a violation of the federal laws cited above and could subject the operator to severe penalties, including, but not limited to, substantial monetary fines, in rem arrest action to seize the offending radio equipment, and criminal sanctions, including imprisonment. So Rosario has 20 days to respond to the notice, which inquires as to whether he's still using the device and requires him to provide details regarding the make, manufacture, and purchase details of the Antminer. The release drew comments from at least one agency official. FCC Commissioner Jessica Rosenworcel commented in the case in a tweet on Friday. It all seems so very 2018. So from this, the FCC, what do we make of this, guys? Is that the FCC, now that they've repealed net neutrality, they're definitely making some big and bold moves. It says that now to anybody at any given time, they can go ahead and send out a letter to them saying, look, you know, we need you to tell us where you bought this mining equipment. Let's see what else it says. You also need to tell us the make of this and who makes it, and you got to give us that model number, baby. So you got to tell us exactly what that is. And if you don't, then you could be faced with arrest action, and we could seize this offending radio equipment, and criminal and sanctions could throw you in prison if you continue using this Bitcoin miner and offending the airwaves that T-Mobile has going on around here. So I want you guys to see that this is the beginning of what happens when net neutrality has been taken away from our species, and also how quickly this can change for us. You know, there's a lot of other news that's coming out right now about how the decision was made that the FCC did this on December 16th, and actually it's going to be going into effect in April this year. Now, April is when we're going to actually start to see the decision going into effect without legal repercussion against anybody. But right now you can already see, and you can look at my past streams as to where I've shown you previous websites that we used to be able to go to that we cannot go to now due to net neutrality being taken away. Now, these areas of my streams will someday become historic, because we'll want to know, and someday our children and our children's children will want to know, hey, what did, you know, the centralized but neutral internet look like? And they will want to know about what these sites look like and what these sites offered us and why these sites even existed in the first place. And then they will find out why we were so oppressed and how we were so oppressed and why it gave birth to these types of things. And at that time, we'll probably be using some form of decentralized internet anyways, but it's just good for us to see. So yeah, that's where we're having it now. You know, the FCC is now coming into people's houses saying, look, we now know that you got an Antminer S5. You better tell us that you got an Antminer S5, or we're going to come and take that Antminer S5. Like, how free is that? How am I supposed to be able to have that? Is there any law against Antminers in place? Not that I recall. There's nothing out there that specifically says, hey, Antminer S5s can be seized by the government if the FCC gets a complaint from anybody, like T-Mobile or shoot Verizon. And you know how close Verizon and the FCC are now. So you can see how easy it would be and how much of a good interest for both Verizon and the FCC if they were to start to submit complaints together. And Verizon started all of a sudden going, oh, look, we found all these Antminer S5s all across the U.S. offending our towers. We need you to go in and shut them all down. Are we going to let this happen, people? Or are we going to define these things for ourselves? So that way, when people try to come in and say, oh, yeah, this mining equipment, this offending radio equipment is happening, you can go, what radio equipment? And they'd be like, that one right there, that Antminer S5. And you'd be like, bro, that's not a radio. That's not radio equipment. I'm not like producing radio stations on that. I'm not like, I have to use YouTube and Twitch and everything else and D-Sound to produce my podcast. So yeah, no, that's not radio equipment. You're horribly mistaken. And they'd be like, well, actually, under this law, under this subsection, under this section right here, it actually says that Bitcoin miners are radio equipment. So it falls under this category here, so that means that we are allowed to come in and tell you exactly what to do with it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yo, Chris Monroe just joined the spaceship. Thank you so much for joining. Yo, hashtag I stay woke. Exactly, bro. Yo, I'm super glad to end up seeing you creating content too, my man. I'm super glad to see that you're up on video too. Super grateful to know that, you know, we're starting to come out, man, and letting this stuff be known. It's tired. It's done, man. I'm done being quiet about it. Being quiet about it is pretty much just staying in a vibration of fear and just, you know, letting that fear vibration get at it. Not doing it anymore. Anyways, just to end up going forward, Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that says Citibank India bans both credit and debit cards for crypto purchases and cites risks. Some news. That's new. Never heard that one before, huh, guys? Sip on my water. Chris Monroe asks, is Bitcoin going to get back to 20K soon? Yo, that's a good question, my man. Yes, it's going to get back to 20K. How soon? I don't know. It actually is, honestly, it's how soon people can get woke, right? It's how soon people can stop being afraid of regulations. It's how soon people can stop letting centralized authorities dictate how these things are going to be ruled. It's when people are going to stop letting rulers rule them. That's when it's going to go back up. And it's going to go past 20K. It's going to hit 40K, 60K, 100K, baby. It's going to be so beautiful. And people are going to want this so much once they end up standing up and saying SEC, IRS, feds, whatever, governments, don't matter, whatever. I'm not going to let you dictate this for me. I'm not going to let you tell me how these things are going to be ruled. I'm going to rule my money because I'm sovereign. And I know people such as Sovereign Starseed that has been ruling their money, ruling cryptocurrency before you even knew what it was. Before you even knew about like trying to end up making some freaking rules about it. That's what I want to say, is that if you guys got in at 2014 or before, you guys pretty much knew about it before the IRS classified it as property. The IRS didn't classify it as property until 3 years ago. That's how new they are to the playground. Are we going to really let them get all of the action on coming into the playground late and saying, yeah, this is how y'all are going to use it, even though I'm the new kid on the playground. I'm a big kid, and I got a lot of clout at this school. So you better follow my rules, even though I'm the new kid on the playground. Are we going to let that one kid with his connections at the school dictate everything on how we're going to play in the sandbox and how everything's going to be used and how we are going to, and what that kid wants us to do is that kid wants us to give some of his connections up at school a little bit of every single piece of sand that we play with, every single toy that we play with and make sandcastles with. We got to give up a tiny little piece of that to that kid's connections up in school. Hey guys, is that like, if we allow this type of stuff to happen, then sure, of course, there's not going to be a lot of progress happening. Of course, we're going to be going right back into the slow systems that we have tried and tested. And like, yeah, that's great. We've tried and tested them, but they're slow, they're top heavy, and they don't work anymore. But if we allow ourselves to move into a new space that isn't tried, it isn't tested, no, it's nervous, but it's unknown, and it's a new way of looking at things, then I think we may find that we may have more success here in a new space where we're all starting to define things for ourselves, and we'll find beautiful ways of defining these things. You're going to find other definitions of how people use cryptocurrencies that's going to be so attractive to you, my friends, that you're definitely going to want to use those ways. And then you're going to find other people's ways that are even better than that. And you're going to be more attracted to that. And you're going to be like, oh man, I want to do that. And that can all happen if we get out of our fear vibrations and we stay sovereign and we get into our unconditional love space. And we just go, you know what? This is beautiful. And this is what crypto means to me. No matter what anybody says. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And I'm not getting into verbal gymnastics with anybody. But I am not afraid of defining this for myself. Because the only alternative is to let you define it for me. Because you think you need to protect me. SEC, IRS, federales. No. I can protect myself. Thank you very much. So Chris Monroe says, I'm not holding much. Like a few hundred worth. I'm bullish on Neo. Yo, that's a good idea. Neo is definitely going to have a breakout before December. Not bad. Not bad at all, friend. So, yes. Yeah, that's going to be great. Anyways, let's get back to this article, too. Citibank India is the latest major bank to ban its customers from using credit cards for purchasing cryptocurrencies, but it's taken the measure one step further by banning the use of debit cards for crypto purchases as well. So, on Valentine's Day, Quartz India reported, quote, given concerns both globally and locally, including from the Reserve Bank of India, cautioning members of the public regarding the potential economic, financial, operational, legal, customer protection, and security-related risks associated in dealing with bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, and virtual currencies. Citi India has decided to not permit usage of its credit and debit cards towards purchase or trading of such bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, and virtual currencies. So Citibank India is a subsidiary of Citigroup, which is a multinational investment banking and financial services corporation that had banned all credit card purchases of crypto last week. Citigroup's ban came alongside JP Morgan, Chase, and Bank of America, and was followed by credit card bans by Lloyds Banking Group and Virgin Money. So it seems as though that there's a whole bunch of bankers that are trying to now ban people it just from using their cards, and it seems that they're doing this as a desperate attempt because they haven't been able to get regulation to come through quicker. They haven't been able to push and compel the lawmakers and the regulators to find a law that can completely entertain all of these virtual currencies. So now they're taking their own measures and being like, fine, if we can't get the lawmakers to find a law until they can create a law that will capture all of this and regulate it so hard that we can make money off of it, we're going to ban you from using it. And we can't ban you all the way because you people are powerful, but we will let you have to find other ways around us, because we'll ban you from using at least our instruments that we've issued to you. So here's what I have to say. First of all, shouldn't there be some law somewhere, right, that would protect us from being able to buy what we want with the instruments that we've been given? Shouldn't there be somewhere that would protect the people that would be like, wait a second, you can't tell me what I can't buy with this credit card? That's crap. I could buy whatever I want. I know that the contract of this card is that I got to pay it back in 30 days or interest starts. I'm good with that. And if I choose to spend with that, I already know the consequences. What I choose to spend that on, you don't have any say in what that is. That should not matter at all. Yo, Chris Monroe says Citibank sucks anyways. I agree, bro. And like, this is only them shooting themselves in the foot, losing customers like crazy. But then there's going to be a certain type of customer that this will appeal to. And it's going to be that old time mindset of like inherent value is what I've usually found coincides a lot of times with this. Guys, I know I'm making a generalized statement and that's not true for everyone, but it's just an easy way for the sake of brevity for us to be able to talk about it. And it's just that, like, yeah, you'll find a lot of people out there that really believe in like holding your assets and being able to look at it and being able to see it. And if it doesn't have any intrinsic value, then it's not really an asset. It's not really having any value. So a lot of times those people will love this decision that Citibank India is doing, and they'll be like, you see what I'm saying, honey? I told you this is why we keep our money with Citibank India, and it's because they do these moves right here where they make sure that we are safe, and they are making sure that all the people that have the same debit credit cards as us don't go and make stupid moves by investing on stupid cryptocurrencies. Like those are ever going to go anywhere. And if enough of those people use the same debit cards, then they're going to crash our whole bank, honey, and we can't have that. Because then where are we going to go? Who are we going to have to tell us how to spend our money? We need someone to tell us how to spend our money. So that's why I like the fact that Citibank India is banning everybody from those horrible, nasty, terrorist funding cryptocurrencies. Oh my gosh. And I'm so glad that everybody in this household doesn't get involved in that. We are Citibank India customers for life. You see, there is going to be a customer. There is going to be a mindset that's going to appeal to that. And that's usually what goes along with that. They are the type that love the slavery. They are the type that love the safety mindset of somebody else providing that safety for them. Because it's easier. It's nicer. So I just want you guys to see that, and I want you to now recognize, that type of mindset so that you can see what the slave is and how you can stay sovereign to it. Because family, there's a lot better benefits by not allowing somebody else to tell you how to dictate this stuff. All right? Next in the news, Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that says U.S. tax filing services says only 0.04% of customers reported crypto to IRS for 2017. So it said fewer than 100 out of 250,000 citizens, out of 250,000 citizens, or 0.04%, who have filed federal returns this year to date via personal finance service Credit Karma, reported cryptocurrency transactions to the IRS. Reuters reported day before Valentine's. Credit Karma Tax General Manager Jagjit Chawla said that the company was not surprised about such a small amount of cryptocurrency filers since citizens, quote, with more complex tax situations, end quote, usually tend to file later in the tax season. However, Chawla added he would be considering the rise of cryptocurrencies in 2017. The company would expect more people to be reporting. In 2018, and the deadline to submit 2017 tax returns in 2018 ends on April 17th. The IRS, which started providing guidance for the taxation of Bitcoin in March 2014, treats cryptocurrency as property. As such, the IRS considers the purchase, sale, trade, and mining of cryptocurrency as taxable events. Independent cryptocurrency trader Brandon Williams told CNBC it'd be more reasonable for him to treat cryptocurrencies as currencies since property status is, quote, almost a deterrent in the pursuit of mainstream adoption. So, you know, it's going to be very hard. It's going to say, Credit Karma points out, they say the difficulty in accurately reporting your crypto gains and losses is going to be a huge barrier for people, and that's going to naturally stop people from even being able to have the ability to report these things. And the government has rushed this so fast that we don't have people in place. Even if we were to try to pay people to help us with this, we haven't been able to even, you know what I'm saying, create jobs fast enough to educate people fast enough at Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block, TurboTax, the IRS even. We don't even have enough people in our government to tell us how to report our tax gains and losses with cryptocurrencies. We don't even have that ability, but we're still having to try to comply with this law of reporting it. But there has been no framework set out on how to do it. There's been nobody to ask on how to do it. Even if I tried to be correct and be a good citizen by going out and saying, look, I want to report my cryptocurrency taxes right down to the T perfectly. I want to pay everything perfect with my cryptocurrency taxes. Who do I talk to make sure that the IRS does not get mad at me? Even if I go to the IRS, the people will say, look at this one page on our website and try to make sense of it. If you can't make sense of it, then you have to contact a private accountant and try to have him make sense of it. So then you got to go and try to find an account that's like, hey, yeah, I am versed well enough in cryptocurrencies and the IRS, and I believe that I can tell you with confidence how you need to give up a tiny little bit of that to the IRS. So now we have to go on this journey, this mission, this pilgrimage to find somebody that's going to be able to tell us how to pay our controllers, because our controllers have created a demand for us that's so high that we can barely maintain or keep it. And yet we still think that's good. We still think that's beneficial. We don't think that's theft. Because I'll tell you this, if you don't pay it, you'll be called a criminal. You'll be said, nope, you can't make that money without giving us some of that money. So you have to go to jail now because you didn't give us some of that money by the time we asked for it, even though we didn't set up a plan for you to give it to us. You guys, you think cryptocurrency is the only industry doing this? No. The marijuana industry has the same problem. The feds want your money. They want to tax you on the dispensaries and all of the money that the dispensaries are making, yet they have not set up a nice and smooth path for these cannabis industries to even be able to pay them the money they want. So these cannabis industries now have to figure out and jump through all these hoops and tiptoe around all these laws just to be able to provide the medicine that grows out of the freaking ground to us. You see what I'm saying with that? I'm just trying to show you guys how crazy regulations get and how complex it gets and how much it slows things down, that it can't be good for us anymore. It can't be. We are fools to try to defend the fact that regulation is amazing and we absolutely need them when there are tribes out there and there have been little different areas of different places of the world that haven't had much regulations, and they've gotten along very fine, if not thrived. So I just want you guys to see that. Next, Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that says UK, Coinbase, CEX.io, and other major crypto firms have created the first self-regulating trade body. So this is actually pretty fascinating, guys. It says 7 of the largest cryptocurrency companies globally have joined forces to form Crypto UK, a first-of-its-kind trade association whose goal is to self-regulate within the UK crypto industry. So Crypto UK is made up of these 7 exchanges, Coinbase, eToro, CryptoCompare, CEX.io, BlockX, CoinShares, and CommerceBlock. And it says Zishan Faraz, CEO of Coinbase UK, commented, quote, "The fundamentals are engaging as a single industry within the government. Regulation is imminent, and that's a good thing." And so I think this is beautiful. It says Crypto UK intends to work with the UK government to follow a code of conduct that will help prevent money laundering and other illegal activities involving Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, as well as better protect customers. However, the group will not deal with regulating ICOs in an area of the crypto industry that has received criticism from regulatory bodies globally. So I think this is fascinating. The Crypto UK chairman says it's aiming to promote best practice and to work with government and regulators, adding that the blueprint for what a future regulatory framework will look like. So they want to try to create what the future regulatory framework will be for, just the free market as well as governments, which I think this is probably one of the best methods of us being able to transition into a truly free and sovereign planet, because we do need new bodies to form themselves and inject themselves in areas that other places are absolutely obsolete now. So I think Crypto UK is getting half of a thumbs up from Sovereign Starseed right now. What's going to make it a full thumbs up will end up being if you start to end up talking about how much you're decentralized and how much you're going to give to the people of the UK, how much power you're going to give to them as to what percentage their vote has on the decisions and the regulations that you'll ultimately come to for them, if you want that. And if you want that serious thumbs up from me, as well as being able to say, we are okay with batting down any of our ideas at any time and stepping down from our positions at any time if we feel that we have too much influence over what's going on. I think that would be a very good way of allowing your people to give you trust, and moving forward with and being able to actually manifest the goals that you're talking about. And that's how I could be able to end up giving you a thumbs up as well. So next, and by the way, guys, my thumbs up, they don't mean anything. Like, it's just something like I'm just saying, it's like my seal of approval for just my opinion. And when I look back on these things and when I listen to these podcasts as an old man, I'll be able to be like, hey, that was pretty cool. I was right about that. And then, oh, that's even cooler. I was wrong about that. And those guys were actually way more legit than I gave them credit for. You know what I mean? Either way, I'm going to be happy. So next and finally in the news, Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that said, how to get paid for your web search, a startup to get back to users. Remember, guys, when I was doing all that major reporting on FCC net neutrality, and I was like, guys, remember there's going to be something out there that's going to take over Google. It's a decentralized version of Google. And I was like, it's like Bitclave or something like that. And I was like, I can't remember what it is because I always mix it up with another company. Here it is. So it's called Bitclave. Bitclave is what I feel will end up being a very good competitor to Google for the pure fact that it's decentralized. And listen to this. A massive share of $550 billion advertisement market belongs to search engines and social networks accumulating private data, but the founders of a new startup, Bitclave, believe they could change the situation. Too much money goes into the hidden ad network with too little added value for businesses and customers. The idea behind the startup is to give control back to the users who could profit from every search result in which they meet the customer profile. Users would be able to control their identity, decide who has access to their data, and get paid each time businesses use their data to make offers. So Bitclave promises to store data securely with the help of blockchain and cryptography. The startup's founder, Alex Besanov, a former chief security officer of LG Electronics, said the platform is trying to bring peace of mind to internet users by protecting them from hackers. Bitclave will allow people to only select organizations to access their data in one-off smart contracts. So this is beautiful. It says that 50% of all advertising traffic is generated by bots, essentially defeating the entire purpose of advertising. Sellers pay for impressions, views, and clicks, resulting in an extremely low conversion rates. decentralized search is the next step in advertising, and Bitclave claims it claims and could help people and businesses to engage in value creation. So it's building a token-based ecosystem for marketing and retail. Its innovative search, decentralized search technology will be market-driven. This means that businesses can optimize marketing investment with real results. Consumers are incentivized to participate, and anonymity and data privacy are in the hands of each individual party. The startup founders explained in the white paper. So I think that right there kind of really sums it up very well, is that, you know, there's a lot of people right now that want to defend Google, and they want to defend Facebook, and they want to defend Amazon. Say, oh, well, Silky, there's no way that you could end up having what you're talking about. What you're talking about is this utopia where you wish that, you know, you could still have your anonymity, but you want to still be able to have customized ads. It's like you want to have your cake and eat it too. And I'm all like, dude, if I had customized ads, that would make me sick. I want my anonymity, and I don't want to have ads being forced to me. And then they go, well, then how would the internet even work? How would it even work? How would companies know when they're getting in front of you? How would they know that they're even targeting the right people? Because there's nobody out there even letting themselves be known who they are, because now everything is anonymous. And I was like, look, it can happen. There are people out there thinking of it. There are people out there doing it. And I can't remember what it's called, but dang it, there's this search engine that's coming out. And this is what it is. It's Bitclave. So as you can see here, not only can you remain anonymous, but you can also help other people find out what people are searching for, so it doesn't break the internet in the aspects of SEO and customer discovery and all of that type of, you know, all of those terminologies that people are so afraid of losing by not being able to give people their privacy, and what they usually say is the reason why we can't have privacy. And not only can you help those people out there, but you also get paid from it now. Google isn't even doing that. So it makes them feel like, it makes them look like crap, like big time crap, because they're not able to end up paying you for the searches that you're giving them, and you guys are giving them your intentions. Do you see that? I want us to kind of focus on that for just a second. I'm going to transition out here, because that's the end of our news. But one of our parting statements that I want to just talk about here is just saying, like, check this out, guys. You give Google your intentions. What does he mean by that? What are you talking about? What I mean by giving Google your intentions is that you guys, whenever you're wanting to look for something, you're typing into Google, how do I do this? How do I cook that? What does this look like? Where does this animal live? How come I got this error message on my phone? Why won't this work? How can I fix that? How does this work? You know, I want to find more people that are like me. I just want to explore. I want to find something unknown. There's so many things that you can use this for. It becomes fascinating to see that all of your intentions are being typed into a search engine that now expects for you to give that to them for free, as well as they want you to give up your privacy, and they want to know exactly who you are, and they don't want to end up anything back from it except for customized ads, and there is no way to opt out of it. The only ways to opt out of it are so hard that it's the mark of the beast, where it's easier to keep it going so that you can continue operating and using search engines and using YouTube and typing something in and not having to click I'm over 18 every time you want to look at something about cryptocurrency. So because of that, I want you guys to see that that is the world that you're used to right now. That is the world that you're consenting to. That's the world that we consent to, as long as we remain in fear. But if we can step up and we can look at these alternatives and be brave, it's hard. But if we can be brave, we can look at these alternatives out there, such as Bitclave, and see, wow, the tables can really turn for me right here. And the more that I search on Bitclave, the more that I'm helping out these people that also believe in decentralized search engines, and I'm getting paid, and I know that I am being able to remain who I am, anonymous, which is super valuable. So just want you guys to see that. I want us to, be able to go through those types of things. If you learned anything from this, if you like this, make sure that you hit the post notification button, subscribe on it, and make sure that you share this out with other people. If you know of anybody else that would get value out of any of this stuff, please share this with them. Let it be known. Spreading the message wide is the best way to help this out. If you feel that you can't watch these streams, that's okay. It's going to be uploaded to D-Sound here within a little while anyways, so that way you can listen to it on the go, you can listen to it on the road, and make sure that you follow me on, because that's where I'm going to be prioritizing a lot of my posts. Why? Because I'm getting paid in cryptocurrency from when you guys upvote those posts on Steemit, and when you comment on it, and when you re-Steam it and you share it with other people. And that's when I can get paid. And when I can get paid from that, guys, I could continue doing this. So some of my parting thoughts are going to be that, I have full faith that I'll be able to continue helping you guys with this, and just not even just helping, but just being able to express who I am and give out this podcast every night. And I will be able to do that, with the help from what you guys are doing by spreading this. And so at some point, when I'm able to do this full time and have that confidence, then it's really going to kick into another gear, and it's going to get even better. But yes, I'm just super grateful for everybody that tunes in, everybody that cares about this, everybody that tells their friends about it, everybody that shares it, everybody that's a regular. You can't tell you how much you mean to me. Ray of Sunshine says, I'm beyond grateful for all that you do. You're truly an inspiration. Keep up the good work. The humans of Earth depend on it. It's capitalized Earth. And so I think that's very, very appropriate. And thank you so much for recognizing that, and, for inspiring me, by being here every night and letting me know that this is valid to somebody, that somebody does love it, that somebody does care about what's going on. And that, even though this is esoteric, it's still getting out to some of the right people. So just, thank yourselves as well, and know that I thank you so much for helping dictate how this show goes. And we'll try to be back tomorrow night for another episode. And I'm now going to get off so that I can go and convert this to podcast form and upload it to D-Sound for later on. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Mountain, 5 o'clock Universal. This is Sovereign Starseed saying good night to the humans of Earth and all beings, seen and unseen. I love you.